Hang on. Well, hello, cadets. We're here with Antonio Linnen. He is going to share with us a little bit about his journey to where he's been, choices he made from the time he was sitting in your seat, thinking about how his life might unfold. And he's been a regular supporter of Citadel leadership events, and we're very grateful to be with you today, Antonio. Why don't you just tell us about yourself?
Oh man, first of all, I got to give it back to you. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity. I live my life to give back, right? So this is an opportunity for me to be able to share some information that I may not look on it as something big, but hopefully they can take something out of it and make some great career choices. So a little bit about myself. I'm from a small town called Smokes. Single parent background. My father wasn't there. My mother raised my brother and I. We had to work our way through high school and help my mother pay bills. So it was a struggle, right? Same typical story. I don't think mine is any different from anyone else. But here's what happened, right? I saw an opportunity, right? I got the guard brought to me by my guidance counselor in high school, right? And I joined, and I'm in my uniform now, guys. I didn't get an opportunity to change and put on something professional, but I guess it's something that I can carry into it. So I've been a part of the Cyclone Army National Guard I just hit 14 years. I just got the confirmation last week that I'll be taking over as our company first sergeant here real soon. And I was told I'll be the youngest first sergeant in the brigade. So fantastic, right? But I joined the Guard not because I was hua. I joined the Guard because it was an opportunity for me to get out of the environment that I was in, right? It was drug infested. It was some crimes. So we had some deaths. It was just ridiculous, right? So I used the Guard as a way out. And my mother could use the money. So they were giving out a $20,000 enlistment bonus, right? So that allowed me an opportunity to be able to pay some bills for my mother. It allowed me the opportunity to be able to actually move us into another home, right? And you got to figure I'm 19 years old, 18, 19 years old, guys, when this is happening. So from there, my leadership experience in the military took me to corporate, right? When you have this on your background, and Mr. Ted can tell you, it goes a long ways for companies when they see that, because they know a few things. They know you're disciplined. They know you're going to be on time. They know there's structure in your approach to things. So this helped me get into the Boeing company, right? I spent 8 years there, and I was moving around in various leadership positions, and I decided I didn't want to work for anybody anymore, right? But shortly after I left Boeing, I left for an opportunity at Honeywell. And there was a manager role over there that they wanted me to take on, and I did. And a year into that, I was able to walk away from my position there and become a solo entrepreneur. So I'm a year and a half, almost 2 years into running my own business as a coach, speaker, and trainer. So what I went and did, I went and got John Maxwell certified as a speaker, coach, and a trainer, right? Phenomenal program. The mentorship that you get there is unmatched. If you don't know who John Maxwell is, I challenge you to Google him after this call, and you'll get a lot of information from him. All right, so what I was able to do was figure out what my talents was. What could I share with the world, right? I know I love to talk. I know I love to talk to people, right? So I put the two together and I decided to become a speaker, right? But what did I have working for me in my favor, guys? Leadership, right? From corporate and from military. So I started a leadership business, right? I went and got my LLC, Antonio Linnen & Associates, right? And now I was able to hire a few people, some family and friends to help me run this business. And now what I do, guys, I go around and I talk to professionals, entrepreneurs, business people on how to add leadership, increase their leadership abilities and add value to their team. And I get paid pretty good doing that. So guys, I was able to take something that I was super passionate about, something that I had what we call a ULE in my world, unique life experiences. And I was able to share that in story format with some structure and actually earn a lucrative income doing that. So that's what I do now. I have coaching programs, keynote speeches, And I use what I've been through as far as the military, my life, in story format and some structure as far as my coaching programs themselves. And I share it with the world, and I help people all over the world add value to their teams or personal value.
That is terrific. Now, a third of our cadets are going to go into the military, and many will do their initial contract and they'll get out on the backside. So they'll have to enter the working world. Some will do guard and reserve, so they'll be in and out, like you have been and like I am as a reservist. So let's break down some of these component parts you're talking about. First of all, let's talk about your guard service. You're wearing a patch, a couple of patches on your shoulder there, CBRN. I'm not sure if cadets know what that stands for. So why don't you tell them a little bit about what that is, what the training was like, what the duties of a CBRN first sergeant or CBRN soldier are. Just kind of give them a little bit of a background and a flavor for what that whole training pipeline was like, how you ended up there instead of, in admin or the infantry or something like that.
Oh, well, first, guys, I had no idea what CBRN was. When I got the guy, my recruiter, he called me and he said, hey, we got this position here at our unit, and it gives a $20,000 bonus. I was like, I don't care what it is. I want that job. Right?
It works. It works.
It worked, right? So what this patch, what he says, stands for: chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear warfare. So let's put it like this. Have you ever watched the movie and you see those guys out there with all the chemical suit on and they have these monitoring equipment and they're walking real slow and they're trying to, that's us. That's us. That's what we do, right? So our training is in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. That's where the entire, to my knowledge, the entire military congregates for CBRN training. That's the home of the chemical training. So myself, all of my soldiers, we literally go through, that's where we funnel through to get all of our training. But back home at our home station, right, we have something called recon and decon, right? So as a platoon sergeant, that's what this means, right? I'm a platoon sergeant now. I have 24 soldiers that push when I tell them to push, right? So, and they look to me for leadership. They look to me to guide them on these different missions. So right now we're in a decon platoon. So that means me and my platoon, we're literally doing troop decon or equipment decon, right? What that means is after the soldiers go in and they come back out of what we call the hot zone, we're gonna be there to help them get out of that chem suit and get back into a situation to where they're out of the elements, right?
So you're decontaminating.
I'm decontaminating. We're going to decontaminate anybody that comes out. If they go in with vehicles, we have what we call the detailed equipment line where we actually spray down the vehicles and make sure the vehicles, and we have different chemicals what we use to get the stuff off of the vehicles. We'll do that. So we're either cleaning our personnel or equipment after they come out of what we call the hot zone. Right? And there's methods on how we do that. And it's fun though. So if you guys are thinking about chemical and you're thinking about the National Guard and you want to stay in this area, I'll probably be your first sergeant.
Now, it seems like you're pretty passionate about this, but it's kind of an amazing thing that you just joined that segment of the Guard because of your bonus, yet still you developed it. Do you think that's a natural ability to bloom where you're planted, or do you think that is you just happen to land in something that interests you, or do you think, because one of the things we're talking about here is what are the core values these cadets are going to take out in the world with them, and some of that is learned at the Citadel, some of that they had before they came to the Citadel, but like how did you develop that passion? Did that come naturally, or was it just lucky draw?
Oh man, I'll say this, guys. Like I said, I had no idea on what I was getting into. But I was always that type of individual that said, there's nowhere to go but up, right? So in order for you to go up, you're gonna have to go beat everybody who's near you. Like you're gonna have to be better than everybody, right? You've always felt like you've always didn't have that head start. You started a mile behind the start line. So go be great at everything you do. So guys, what I wanna encourage you is to go be great at every single thing you do. No matter if you like it or you don't like it, if you're gonna spend a lifetime doing it or 6 months doing it, 2 years doing it, it does not matter. It reflects who you are as an individual, and what you want to leave behind is, man, Sergeant Linnen was what we expected. We wish we could have him longer here. So I took the approach to say, I may not like this job. They gave me a $20,000 bonus. It's scary. What they show on TV is actually what happens, right? That gas chamber, it sucks, right? But I always had in the back of my mind that you're going to go do great things because you're not going to allow any situation or circumstance dictate how you perform, right? So something has to happen inside of you before you get there. And you're gonna have to tell yourself that, you know what, no matter what, if it sucks, because I guarantee you, the first job you take when you leave the Citadel or the first career choice as far as in the military is gonna suck, right? If it doesn't, you're gonna be one of the very few that just happens to land somewhere and like, this is golden, I can do this forever.
Yeah.
But you're probably not gonna be that lucky. You're gonna get in a situation where you're not gonna like the leadership team. You're not gonna like your squad leader, platoon sergeant. You're not gonna like your commander, your first sergeant. Something's gonna suck, right? But forget all of that. What are you made of? What are you built of? How are you as an individual gonna go out there and still make an impact, no matter how small, going forward, right? So own it. Now, number one, you're gonna have to own it. And then you're gonna have to say, you know what, I'm gonna be great, no matter what the situation is.
That's a terrific attitude. I could not agree more. Plus, I'm not sure if it's true. I didn't go to the Citadel, but here they're on this 24-hour cadet schedule, and so they're very structured, and they're used to working very hard. But when you get out in a wider world, and we'll talk about Boeing here in just a second, when you get out in that wider world, like there's not always someone to tell you exactly what needs to be done at what time and all that. And so you got to have that good attitude to manage the stress of being out in the real world without the sort of guidelines that the military sometimes gives to you. So let's talk about your time at Boeing. You spent 8 years there. What were your duties there for Boeing, and how do they progress training you and all that?
So for me, actually this patch and this job actually landed me in Boeing. They were looking for a hazmat tech. That was the job description, right? And I've just went through all of these different hazmat certifications at Fort Leonard Wood. So with that on my resume, I was able to get a job there in the entry level, right? And when I got there, I was like, you know what? This is definitely not what I want to do forever. I don't want to do exactly what I'm doing forever. I need to progress. The great thing about the Boeing company, contrary to what we're seeing now in the news, is that they want you to be great. They want you to develop yourself. They want you to go be better. And if you can get up under the right leadership, right? And if you can have the right attitude, you're definitely going to grow, right? So as far as there, I took that role, right? And I did that role for about 2.5, 3 years, right? And then I moved over into safety, right? So we were safety. I had a team of 5 of us, and we were safety for about another 2 years. And then, so I spent my first 4.5, 5 years there saying, I just want to be a team player. After that, I said, you know what, I need to make a different impact, right? Because there are people that's coming behind me. There are people that are actually came in with me and they're stagnant and they have no growth, no potential, or from what they could see, right? So I actually took a position with a young lady named Carol Murray. I'm sure Carol Murray's name, it may ring around the Citadel. She does a lot with the Citadel. And I was actually working with Alicia Floyd, right? So those 2 individuals showed me the path as far as what it took to go be a great leader in the Boeing company itself. So long story short, what I did was I focused more on how I could serve other people as opposed to serving myself. And guys, the universe has a way of rewarding you when you start living your life like that. So what I started to do was help people with their resume, help them with interview questions, and then got a position doing just that. And guys, when you're great at what you do, you can dictate your own schedule. I'm telling you, when you're good at what you do, you can dictate your own schedule. So always be that individual that says, and I said in the beginning, that you want to go and be the best at what you do, no matter where you are. But the Boeing company taught me that I had more to give the world than what I was offering just inside those walls. So guys, fast forward 2 years after leaving the Boeing company, I'm now trying to make the Boeing company a client of mine. So that's how the world, that's how it works. That's how it operates. I'm now working with the senior leadership team on how I can come in and offer my next level leadership program and how we can actually work that. Right. So guys, go be great at what you do. Impress the people who are actually there to help you get to the next level. And those are going to be the same people you're going to be able to call in a few years to help get you to where you ultimately want to be at.
You know, you're really, it sounds like you're talking about managing positive relationships, even in a transition of some kind. You know, when you say it's time to go, time to move on, get another opportunity, you still go out with a really positive, mutually positive relationship as best you can.
Absolutely, absolutely, guys. And I'll say this: never let a situation that could cause you to be upset for one moment dictate how you behave going forward. Right? When you get into the real world, I promise you, someone's going to upset you. Right now, if you look to your left and your right, your peers are probably doing something to upset you right now. If not, they probably did something last week. So the same thing applies, right? You're going to have to maintain a positive attitude, right? And you're going to have to stay connected. You're going to have to still lead by example, right? Don't let anything dictate how you behave and what your attitude is, no matter where you come from, no matter what the situation is, because I promise you it's going to serve you well in the end. And believe it or not, someone's going to honor that even when you're not around. And that's going to open doors for you that may not have been open before if you had a bad attitude.
I mean, you're talking about two separate forces here. People that you get to know and know you and know your work, and that comes around over time. I have experienced that personally myself. Second is the universe, you know, being open to this idea that you serve others, and there's a karmic reward for that. I mean, it's just two guys in uniform talking about universal forces, but I think that's great advice. You know, don't make it sound too woo-woo here, but I agree with you. So, all right, let's talk about the John Maxwell, or John Maxwell?
John Maxwell.
Yeah, let's talk about that program, how you found it, what the training was like, and what you're doing as a result of that training.
Oh, man. So I was telling Carol, I said, I want to give more. I want to do more. There are some kids that come from where I come from, and they're watching me now. And I got to go and take my life to a new level. And I need to do it early on, right? And she said that, I think you deserve to do more also. She said that, here's a book that I want you to read, right? And it was, that was the first book she gave me. The second book she gave me.
Called what?
I'm going to get it right now.
Get it. That's exactly what this is for. It's just to figure out that the.
My wife moved it. But it's John Maxwell book. It's called Leadership Shift. Leadership. I meant.
Leadership. Okay.
Leadership. Guys, get the book called Leadership. When I read that book, guys, from front to back, and I wish I had it right here. You know, listen, guys, when you get married, honor your wife, but they're going to move things that you don't want them to move at most inopportune times. All right. But it's called Leadership. That book itself made me say, I got to go meet this guy in person. And I started Googling him. I started researching him, and I realized they had a program that he offers in March and in August, right? It was a pretty penny. It really was. But I said, I got to go be certified, right? This guy's the global leader in leadership. When I say global, I mean global. John is being called by presidential cabins to come in and teach leadership. I don't know if you understand what I just said, but when another country calls you to come in and train their staff on leadership, you're a big deal. Yeah. John has made millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars teaching leadership. So I said, you know what? I need that clout. I need to be able to tell someone that I'm a John Maxwell certified trainer, speaker, and coach, right? So I went and I got that certification, and it's been nothing short of amazing. And guys, there's going to be some times in life when you have an opportunity to be able to brag. Those are one of the things that I like to brag. I don't do a whole lot of bragging, but when you go through a program like that, I went there, it was 4 days, right? There was almost 4,000 people there. And it was from start to finish, morning to night, every single day. The networks that I've been able to get from there, and this was 2 years ago, I still keep in contact with them. We still do business meetings together. We're still earning revenue together. some of those same individuals. We still have coaching programs together. We're still popping in on each other's calls as guest speakers and doing things. So John has really helped me out a whole lot, him and his staff. So what I did was I said, you know what, I need to start something for me, right? John allows you once you get certified to use all this material and monetize it. John is like, go. I said, well, what else can I do? So I decided to build something I call BOLT, Business of Leadership Training, right? That's my program. There's 3 coaching programs that go along with that. My website is being worked on right now. I got it revamped and I got a new website designer. So it's going to look a 1,000 times better. And it's going to be AntonioLinnen.com. That's what it's going to be. But the Business of Leadership Training was something I was super passionate about, because there you have, I think, 3 levels of leadership. You have the aspiring leaders, someone that says, you know what, I can see myself leading a team, or I would love to be a leader. Then you have your established leaders. Those are your senior leaders. Those are the ones that already have a team. They're running it, and they're okay. They're just in that level. And then you have your executive level leadership. So I have 3 leadership coaching programs that speak to each level, right? And now I'm able to go and monetize that in companies all over, right? And right now, Zoom makes it easier, so we can do exactly what we're doing now and train over the website. So, but now, like I said, I'm able to take that and share my talents and my gifts with the world, my military experience and my 11 years of corporate experience. I'm able to take that. And if you do that collectively, you're talking 20 years of leadership experience that I'm able to share with the world now and monetize it.
That is pretty cool. So I'll ask you 2 more questions just to make sure we're staying on timeline.
Okay.
One is, who do you typically speak to? Like, what kind of groups? I saw a picture of you talking to some big crowd. I mean, that was pretty cool. That was a cool photo. You had our hands outstretched, and you're talking to these people. So what kind of folks do you like to talk to? And then the question I want you to start thinking about, so we always wrap up with this question, which is, you know, you're a young man trying to figure out your career. What piece of advice would you give to these young men and women who are about to enter the workforce? What do you wish you had known to help them build that vision of what's possible in the future? What do you wish you had known at their age and their stage of the game that you know now from all your experience? So first question is, who do you like to speak to?
So it's twofold for me. But guys, when you get into this world, you're gonna have to pick a side, right? But I'm just stubborn right now. So my business is focused on professionals, entrepreneurs, corporate individuals, right? And I try to stay between because you gotta have to narrow down your focus. You can't just say everybody needs leadership and I want to monetize everybody. That's not how the world works, I promise you, right? So you're gonna have to niche down, right? So what I said was, you know, I want to talk to business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals, right? From the ages of 25 to 40, right? And that's my niche in that world. So those are who I market to, I target. That's my audience. But I have a passion from the heart to go back and speak to the youth. So I do that also. I go to elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, and colleges all over and just tell the same story that I'm telling you guys. So I love to do that. I don't necessarily monetize that unless there's a budget for it or there's a big event. That's one of those things that I really love to do, and I love to get the kids hyped up, and I love to tell where I come from, because a lot of kids have come from where I come from, and now they're like, well, how do I make it coming from these circumstances? No excuses. Here's how you're gonna go do that. I did it, right? So here's what you can do. But my business is focused on professionals, entrepreneurs, corporate leaders, those types of individuals or companies.
That's huge. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's terrific of you. Right? I mean, talk about serving, giving back to your community. That's just amazing. All right, this is it. Final question. Final Jeopardy. No, just final question. What do you wish you? What would you tell people that you wish you knew at a younger age that you know now?
Ooh, if we had 30 more minutes, I'd give you like 10 different things and talk about them.
Keep it coming.
The one thing that I would say that would make the most impact in your life going forward that you need to learn now and don't wait until you're 30, 35, 40 years would be to get disciplined and stick to a schedule, right? I know you're at the Citadel. I know there's structure. and I know that they're drilling that into you, be to class 10 minutes early, or whatever that looks like, right? I didn't attend the Citadel, but there's structure there. But guys, when you get in the real world, I promise you, on-timeliness sets you apart. If you have a colleague and your job says show up at 6 o'clock every morning, and your colleague is showing up at 6 o'clock, and you're showing up at 5:30 every day because you stuck to a schedule. I get up at 4:30, I pray, I work out, I eat my yogurt or my oatmeal, I get in my car at this time. You're gonna set yourself apart. And what's gonna happen is over the course of 3 to 5 years, you're gonna build a gap so big that no matter what your competitors do, they're never gonna catch up, right? So if you build that right now and you stick to that right now and you don't deviate from that at all, the gap that you build over 1, 2, 3 years, because they're not being consistent, they're not showing up on time, they're not giving 120% effort, they're not doing the things that they don't want to do, but they're doing it because it makes the team better or it's growing them as an individual, you're going to set yourself apart. So definitely get a schedule and stay disciplined to it. If I had done that 10 years ago, I'd be a millionaire now.
Antonio, that is great advice. It is great advice for cadets because they have these core values that they're given here at the Citadel, and they're just jammed with it every day, and to the point where they sometimes think it's too much. It's like people don't talk like this in the real world. But what they find is when they get out in the real world, no one's talking like that. So that's part of what makes them special. But another thing is here inside the walls of the Citadel, they're given that 24-hour schedule, and so they're given that discipline. It's a framework that they operate in. And when they get out in the real world, it's not there. If you don't create it for yourself, it's not there.
Exactly.
And, I think that's a really, really excellent key takeaway. So thank you so much for your time. It's so great what you're doing for the community. And I'm very happy that you're going to be a first sergeant in our guard. So thank you so much.
Thank you. No problem. Anytime you need me, I'm only a phone call away, Mr. Ted.
I appreciate it.
All right.